Trump is like, how are you qualified to be president? Because I'm good, okay? I'm so good. I know how to do it, okay? And Hillary...
Have you ever wondered what would happen if someone mocked Donald Trump so perfectly that even his hairline retreated in protest? Well, Dana Carvey just did exactly that, and the aftermath is absolute gold. Picture a roast so brutal, it left Mar-a-Lago looking like a disaster zone. Trump didn't just lose his cool, he lost his mind. So what exactly did Carvey say that triggered the meltdown of the year? Stick around, because this impression turned into a full-blown Trump catastrophe you have to see to believe.
People were talking, Cody, okay.
Now, I do him very feminine, I don't know why.
Well, yeah, a little bit of lotion, a little bit of chapstick.
Imagine him getting a manicure.
Okay, just go easy. Little hands, little tiny hands.
Yeah.
I'm not tiny down there.
Yeah.
What happens when a Saturday Night Live legend goes nuclear on Trump? It wasn't just an impression, it was a full sensory experience. You could practically smell the bronzer, hear the fizz of the Diet Coke, and feel the room temperature rise with each exaggerated hand gesture. Carvey didn't just impersonate Trump, he channeled him, right down to the self-congratulatory smirk and
has said recently that he thinks Trump is going woke. That's his angle.
I heard that because of the Disney thing. And Trump woke, because he always goes at 10, right? He's just going to go at it more than anyone. I'm woke like you wouldn't believe. I'm telling you, what's happening to these trans women athletes is quite frankly a disgrace. They should be allowed to compete with the girls and get in there. But people say, no, you can't do that.
People say no?
Excuse me. And I don't care if they're 6'3" with their hands and feet are like giant flippers. You got to put them in the pool.
They got feet like kangaroos.
It looks like they're wearing jet skis when they're walking around. These are 4-footers.
Push them in the pool.
Put them in the pool.
reality warping confidence. If you're enjoying this, don't forget to subscribe. Now, normally Trump shrugs off this kind of mockery, at least in public. But this one struck a nerve. According to sources inside the Florida fortress of fragile feelings, Trump wasn't just annoyed, he was livid. One aide reportedly overheard him muttering, "Dana who? Washed up, never funny, sad," which is pretty rich coming from a guy who once tried to sell steaks at Sharper Imp.
Trump is the impression of the year.
Right.
You're one of the great impressionists. How are you going to evolve this Trump impression?
I don't
what do you
know
think's going to happen with it?
I don't know what to do with it. I don't know where it's going. I keep discovering hooks. I could promise you that. I could tell you that. They're friends of mine. Okay. I figure if he starts World War III, we'll be in our bunkers. He'll still be selling us on closed circuit TV. You know, we had a fabulous nuclear war. It was fabulous. Tremendous nuclear war. Your bunkers are terrific. Your bunkers are fabulous. The Chinese bunkers are a disaster. They're a disaster. Okay.
And here's the thing. This wasn't some casual throwaway bit tucked into a monologue or dropped during late-night banter. Dana Carvey didn't just imitate Trump, he obliterated him. This was comedy with a mission. Tactical.
You've obviously...
Everyone's doing it.
Everyone's doing Trump. And the thing is, you like to find the rhythm of the guy and the little ticks.
Many people, excuse me, many people, excuse me, many people, excuse me, you're gonna be happy, you're gonna be happy, like, you know, happy, you're gonna be, excuse me, many people, excuse me, you're gonna be happy, I know a lot of happy. It's a symphony of madness.
Surgical, precision-guided satire dressed in an orange-hued, ego-bloated costume. Carvey locked onto every bizarre nuance of Trump's persona with the finesse of a bomb technician. But instead of diffusing the situation, he blew it straight to comedic hell. From the exaggerated self-congratulation to the ADHD-style detours, in his speech patterns, we're talking about tariffs, but did you know I got the most votes of any person ever who wears red ties? Carvey nailed it. All of it. It was like watching a funhouse mirror that insults you back, only funnier and significantly less orange. The bravado? Mocked. The victim complex? Roasted. TikTok exploded with split-screen parodies, lip-syncing over Carvey's voice, in ill-fitting suits and overcooked spray tans. It was like Gen Z got handed a comedic nuke, and they detonated it right in the comments section. What made this roast so brutal wasn't just the jokes, it was the truth behind them. Carvey didn't invent a caricature. He simply turned up the volume on what was already absurd. And that's what made it sting. It was the comedic equivalent of holding up a funhouse mirror, only for Trump to realize it wasn't distorted at all. This is how people see him, and if there's one thing Trump can't stomach, it's not being in on the joke, but being the joke. Here's the real kicker. Carvey didn't just humiliate Trump in front of millions, he reminded America that satire still hits hard. In a world drowning in investigations, indictments, and political chaos, sometimes all it takes is one razor-sharp impression to expose a fragile ego for what it really is. And in Trump's case, that ego just got served, medium rare, with a side of...
I spent the year trying to figure out the appeal of Donald Trump. And, he's a blunt force instrument. So, if your cause was global warming and you're going to the conference, who would you rather have with you than Donald Trump? Because he'd be like,
you stupid countries, okay? You're very, very stupid, okay? You're spewing all this stuff in the air. The earth's getting hot. The grass is getting hot. Ouch, 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 ouch. I will be so good with global warming. I'll solve global warming. I'll make CO2 pay for it. I can promise you that. I know how to make
public
glaciers,
humiliation.
okay?
Donald Trump had a bad day. And when we say bad, we mean the kind of meltdown that makes Chernobyl look like a campfire. All it took was a man, a microphone, and one hilariously lethal impression. Dana Carvey. Yes, that Dana Carvey, Saturday Night Live royalty and the human. Swiss Army knife of celebrity impressions, managed to detonate Trump's ego in record time. No subpoena, no indictment, just a few minutes of razor-sharp mockery, and boom, the spray tan went nuclear. You'd think Trump, a man who spent more time in front of cameras than a Kardashian on a Red Bull binge, would have developed some kind of thick skin by now. But nope, the thinnest-skinned billionaire this side of a soap bubble took a comedic jab and spiraled into full DEFCON orange. Mar-a-Lago staff reportedly had to hide the ketchup bottles. Again, and it all started innocently enough. Carvey doing what he does best, mimicking public figures with pinpoint precision.
I just wanted to observe a few funny things because I'm watching New Trump.
New Trump.
When he says talk, he makes a very specific mouth. They've never seen it before. They've never seen anything like it. They never have. It's never happened before, quite frankly. All they do is talk. All they do is talk. Talk. They just talk. They just talk. Talk. They talk. This is the only time he makes this specific lips like this. All talk. Then he goes back normal. I don't know what they're doing, but all they do is talk. They talk.
It's kind of when he went, China.
All they do is talk. They're all talk.
All they do is talk.
All talk.
Everything they do is talk.
All they
Attire
do.
sharp enough to perform surgery. But this wasn't just a fun impression. Oh no, Carvey went full scorched earth. He channeled Trump like a cartoon villain mashed up with a disappointed dad, a shady used car salesman, and a washed-up game show host, all rolled into one. It was like watching your childhood birthday clown finally go rogue and start exposing the entire circus for what it really is. A glittery disaster running on ego, Diet Coke, and pure delusion. The impression wasn't just funny, it was devastating. Because beneath the laughter, you could feel it. Carvey wasn't just mocking Trump's voice, he was mocking the absurdity of the entire act, the fake bravado, the endless grandstanding, the made-up words, the unshakable confidence of a man who couldn't spell honor without autocorrect, and even then, he'd still get it wrong. And Trump? Oh, he heard it. Maybe not live. His staff probably filters out anything above a second-grade reading level, but once the clip started spreading faster than his legal troubles, you could practically hear the steam hissing out of his ears. This is a man who once tried to buy Greenland, and yet...
Frankly, let me tell you, you're going to be seeing a lot of it. That I can tell you. I mean, when you look at it and it didn't work out so great for so many of these people, and you're seeing it all over the place. Many people are saying, we're not those people. We don't do that, okay? So you look at what they're doing, you look at all of it, and people are very disappointed, like you wouldn't believe, because it's a terrible deal, really a bad deal. And we're going to be doing something very soon, and you're going to be happy. You're going to be seeing a lot of it. You're going to be happy like you wouldn't believe.
He couldn't handle a few minutes of well-crafted satire, which, let's be honest, is probably the most intelligent attack he's faced all year. Sources close to Trump. And by that, we mean people still desperate to keep their jobs say he didn't take it well. Allegedly, there were grumbles about how Carvey was washed up and irrelevant, which is rich coming from someone who once held a press conference next to a landscaping company. Trump's idea of a clever comeback is usually just shouting, "wrong," like a malfunctioning Siri, so you can imagine how sophisticated this meltdown got. But here's the best part. Trump has a long, well-documented history of flipping out whenever comedians take aim at him. Alec Baldwin, Seth Meyers, Stephen Colbert. Heck, even that random kid on TikTok who mocked his dance moves probably got a cease and desist. It's a pattern, like clockwork. If you say something mean about Trump and people laugh, get ready for the toddler tantrum of the century. And Carvey? He didn't even go for the jugular. He didn't
feel like you're going crazy with all the voices in your head?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I mean, I'm coming on to him. I mean, I'm still having fun with Trump. I did love the jokes. I mean, Trump teasing what he's going to do, and he's not making the announcement, is so funny to me.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I'm going to be saying something very soon. We're going to say it, and we're going to do it, and we want to do it, and we're going to say things like you wouldn't believe. And many people say they don't want to see it, they don't like that, but we're going to do it anyway. We're going to do it.
He has full arguments with himself.
I know.
bring up the 4 indictments, the hush money, or the classified documents stashed next to golf trophies. All he did was mimic the tone, the cadence, and the cartoonish self-importance that's somehow become the official brand of a former US president. And here's what makes it all even more delicious. Dana Carvey isn't some political attack dog. He's not a partisan pundit. He's a comedian, a guy whose whole career is built on making fun of everyone. So the fact that Trump lost his ever-loving mind over one harmless yet brutally accurate impression, yeah, that says a lot more about Trump than it ever could about Carvey. At the end of the day, what really sent Trump over the edge wasn't the impression itself, it was the accuracy. It hit too close to home. It wasn't just a caricature, it was a reflection of Trump's real-life absurdities. Like looking into a funhouse mirror, but this one didn't lie. It amplified the truth, exaggerating the nonsense.
Trump's there, he's got the time, and Elon is up there talking, right? And I don't really do it yet, but I'm working on it. We got to go to malls. We're going to malls. Because we can't stay live. We got to go to malls. This will be really cool. Okay? And then they say, President Trump. And Trump goes, what he said. What he said. He's a smart cookie. He's a tough cookie. He's a cookie monster. This is what he's smart. Everybody talks about it. He's like, shit so hard. Excuse me.
In a way that only Trump could truly appreciate. As the ultimate insult. Let's not forget, this is a man who still claims he won an election he lost, thinks windmills cause cancer, and once suggested people inject bleach to fight viruses. A man who genuinely believes he's the most persecuted person on Earth, despite owning more properties than Monopoly. Meanwhile, the American public got exactly what they desperately needed. A reminder that satire is alive, well, and still the sharpest weapon for making sense of a reality show presidency gone rogue. Because let's be honest, after years of political chaos, indictments, scandals, and enough lies to fill a presidential library made entirely of fiction, we need Dana Carvey now more than ever. We need that comedic scalpel, one that slices